What is going on, everyone? Anthony here, and welcome back to another Resident Evil Collection update. It's the first one on this channel this year. It's been a while since we've done a collection update last, but I want to shout out a couple people that made this possible. I want to shout out Nougie, aka Luke, from Resident Evil Challenger, who gifted me a bunch of stuff the last time I was over in the UK. I want to shout out my best friend Joe. I also want to shout out JB Zombie, who also gave a very generous gift. And a lot of these are gifts from you guys, and I really appreciate it. And there's a lot of goodies to show off in this video, so let's get right into it. All right, so first up, these are all from Nougie. He generously gifted me these PAL versions of the original Resident Evils. And this is the first game. Very similar cover art to our American cover art over here on the long box and the slim case version. The manual looks similar as well. It's just got the Peggy logo on it. And the different pages within here are pretty similar. They do change as we kind of get through each game, as I'll show you kind of what the manuals look like. But yeah, these are very similar to the American manuals. But the disc here has the white with the red letter logo, which is cool, and the eye in the middle. Very cool stuff. I always love these early editions and the differences between the artwork, where nowadays all the artwork just looks, well, the same. Back then they all looked different. And continuing on, we have this here, Resident Evil 2, this classic artwork as well. I think the UK artwork is just as good as the American artwork. I know people would even say it's better. I really do like both just because it's so nostalgic, the original over here in the States, that cover, but this cover is still amazing, and I love the disc artwork right here. This disc artwork is probably even better than the American. I love the zombie next to each character there for the Leon and Claire disc, and then here is the manual, which does, this one looks a little bit different than the American manual. This one, you know, they just use different images and stuff like that, but it's the same idea. They have the controls, they have a little synopsis in there, talking about the excessive amounts of zombies you're going to have to fight in this as opposed to the first one. And it does have cool little bios for the characters, which is cool, which is something that 2 and 3 both did. So very cool. Again, I like seeing these little differences because it's laid out just slightly different color schemes, stuff like that. So very cool. And of course, this is, you know, Resident Evil 2. So this is a very cool piece to have in my collection again. Just with a port that I've never actually have, because I have the Japanese version of these titles, but the PAL titles and releases are something that I'm going to be starting now that I have a decent amount. And here it is. Here's the big dog, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, my favorite game of all time. Now I finally have a PAL version of this. This doesn't have a front insert, it just has the manual, but that's perfectly fine because it has enough for us to actually skim through and kind of see a little bit of the differences. It has the same artwork as the American with the Nemesis artwork in the back with his hand, and then the bios for Jill and Carlos are laid out a little bit differently, but they're the same exact bios, and of course they just have, you know, all the getting started, the options screen and the menus and stuff, so very cool. I really love this artwork too of just Nemesis, and there's Nemesis and Brad on the back, but I love the Jill disc right here. This disc right here is probably one of my favorites from Resident Evil 3, but I love this cover art of Nemesis just standing in the front there. Very iconic, and I'm very happy that I have this in my collection. Look at that. Boom. Crispy. And now, up next, we have some more PAL goodness. This is Resident Evil Survivor. This is with the gun and the bullets on the front. I kind of like the Ark Thompson cover a little bit more over here in the States, but I still love this cover because, again, I like the red and the black, and, you know, again, it's just very early 2000, you know, which is basically when this came out. Well, it came out August 2000, but, you know, this actually has a receipt connected to it, but it's very faded, but yeah, this has a receipt right here. Look at this. Babies Are Us, which means that this might have been purchased at Toys R Us, but they have a Babies R Us thing on the back of it. So there you go. Just thought that was funny. And this is a bunch of because IDOS did a lot of the publishing over in the UK. This is a bunch of little advert for it, and here is the manual for Survivor. Very simple manual, very simple game, really. I mean, it's not too intricate, you know, but the light gun is actually kind of cool that they show that in this manual, because the light gun was actually banned over here in the States because of the timing that it came out. So it's kind of cool that there is light gun controls in this manual. That's something that's pretty, you know, exclusive to any other version but the American version. So whether you're on PAL or the Japanese version, you actually get to play it with the light gun. And this is kind of more of a you know, IDOS ad. It just kind of shows all their games: Tomb Raider, Power Stone, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, which is another one of my favorites, Fighting Force, Tomb Raider 3. So yeah, just an ad for what else they have out at the time. Resident Evil 3, obviously. They took care of the releases over in the UK. Yeah, very cool stuff. I love these little ads from back in the day. These little things they used to include in your games just to be like, hey, this is what else we got, you know? Whether it was demo discs or ads like this, these are just classic to have, especially, you know, in an era where we actually still had manuals and stuff that came inside the cases. So, yeah, very cool. Resident Evil Survivor, not too bad. I would love to actually play this with a light gun one day. So, there we go. And here we go, Resident Evil Outbreak. This is on the PS2, obviously. I love the whiteout cover here on the blue, actually. The blue case, it really looks dope. I love the hands coming out. This is an iconic, you know, piece of art just from Outbreak alone. A game that we would actually end up enjoying all together online years later, because during the time of this release, the online was not as solid as people think because of the limited internet connection. But here are the bios within the manual here, obviously breaking down every character, which is actually really important because they also bring different aspects to how your game is going to play out. So if you are playing this multiplayer, you do have to pick the characters that will help you out the most. And here's a little Capcom 2004-2005 release, which is, again, another cool thing that they don't do anymore. Beautiful Joe, Devil May Cry. Obviously, Resident Evil 4 was coming out because the first one came out in 2004, the first Outbreak, and then the second one came out in 2005. Look at Monster Hunter. Little did they know what Monster Hunter would actually bring to their company. A lot of money. So yeah, that's the Capcom releases. This has a little. I guess this is just about the online. Take the battle online. So that's how to get connected. Over here, we needed the Final Fantasy adapter to connect online back in the day. But nowadays, you can play with modded servers, and it's great. So thank you again, Nougie, for all of these PAL additions that are added into my collection. This right here is also from Nougie as well. All those PAL releases were from him, and this was as well. This is Retro Gamer magazine over there. And this is really cool because this came out with Resident Evil 4 Remake. They did a whole section of their magazine all on Resident Evil and the evolution of Resident Evil. Really cool stuff. I love little things like this that are lost nowadays when, you know, we don't have a lot of game magazines that are, you know, still in print or that actually physically get printed. A lot of them now are digital where you can just access them on your phone. But this is really cool. I love having stuff like this to kind of just, you know, remember and look back on. They show all the different, look at that. They had the classic artwork. That's actually really cool. This is also the mini Resident Evil companion. Another thing that he gave me with this, which is really neat. It actually has all of the little Resident Evil bits in here, starting from the original. And it kind of gives you the synopsis of the story, but also the releases too. So it shows you the remake. It shows you Deadly Silence. It shows you Survivor. Everything in between. Really, really cool. Resident Evil 2, It also shows all the spin-offs as well. They also have, a little thing about Code Veronica, RE2 Remake, RE3 Remake. Even Resident Evil Gaiden makes an appearance, you know? Really cool that they did this. And, of course, they have to have the silver screen. They got to have a little blurb about the movie, of course. But RE4, RE4 VR, and, yeah, just kind of showing you all the history. Outbreak. This thing is actually really, really neat. Because, again, you don't really get this anymore. You really don't. Talks about 7 and Village, even Mercenaries 3D. This thing does literally cover, like, everything. Umbrella Corps, even, so... And you got the nice Umbrella logo on the back. So really cool. Thank you so much, Nougie, for those gifts. This is another gift here from my good friend Joe. Resident Evil Director's Cut, the Brady Games Guide. This is back when they did, you know, small little guidebooks like this to kind of help you through. There's very minimal pictures in this thing, which is fine, though, because it's a little, you know, pocket-sized book, basically. But it does walk you through the complete version of the game, how to save everybody. It shows you all the maps, and it's a very, like, step-by-step guide. You know, step 1, step 2, step 3. Sometimes it's hard without the visuals, you know? Like, I know some of the main guides that have visuals next to it are easier to follow, but if you know the game any which way, this is still kind of useful. I actually did a stream where I used this book step-by-step to see what, you know, kind of where it guided me and what it wanted me to do. Very cool. $7.99 US. It's definitely not that much now. It's definitely higher price because some of these are going up in price. But thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Really appreciate the gifts. And the gifts don't stop coming. The Tyrant T002. This is from JB Zombie. Shout out to JB Zombie being a really good viewer and really cool guy. It was awesome to meet him. We actually met up at Perry's shop. We hung out and watched some wrestling. And he gifted Perry a really nice belt, and he gifted me this amazing Tyrant statue, which I've actually had pre-ordered on GameStop and their website like a year and a half ago, and they never shipped it, and it never shipped. And so I never actually got it. And so when JB gave this to me, he's like, I don't think you ever actually got it, right? I'm like, no, I didn't actually, so this is really fucking cool. And yeah, I didn't get the liquor statue. This was the other one. There might be another one out there that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but look at this detail. I mean, not only is this a classic, it's one of my favorite versions of a Tyrant. And so, yeah, this is just incredible. The detail that they have on this. I love the glass break at the very bottom. I love all the detail in the veins and the heart. This is amazing, man. Thank you so much for this. You did not have to do this, but he is currently, as I'm recording this, displayed proudly on my shelf. So really, really happy that I have this in my collection, and GameStop didn't screw me over to where I never got to see this. So right here we actually have the Resident Evil Infinite Darkness prequel, The Beginning, in a graphic novel form. This is actually really cool. I did get this pretty much while I was waiting to put out this collection update. I just kept getting more stuff, so that's also why this took a little bit. But yes, got the graphic novel. This thing's actually really cool. A really good read, and the artwork's actually really well done. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a prequel story before Infinite Darkness, and stars Leon, and a bomb goes off in a certain building, and let's just say all hell breaks loose. So yeah, pretty cool story, and worth checking out as a fan. And last but not least, this was actually during the filming of Keeper's Diary. This is a signed copy of my Resident Evil long box by none other than Charlie Kraslavsky, who played the original live-action Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 1, and is also playing the Keeper in the upcoming The Keeper's Diary, which is the RE fan film that we all worked on together, that's hopefully coming out later this month. Very, very cool, and I will treasure this item forever in my collection. So that's about it for this collection update. Thank you so much, everybody, for gifting this stuff and bearing with the the absence of the Resident Evil collection update videos. I know a lot of you founded the channel on some of these collection update videos or got into the channel through these videos, and I want to say thank you, because you know, it's been a wild ride. I mean, we've been doing these for 14 years now, getting things, recording what I get in the collection, and over 14 years of collection updates, you get to see how things used to cost versus what they cost now, and how things have just gotten jacked up in price tremendously through the years. And it's true. I mean, collecting has become a lot more expensive. That's also why you don't see as many collection update videos as often. You know, it is a pretty pricey thing to get into, especially nowadays. I can't imagine, I mean, I have such a great collection to the left of me right here. I can't imagine starting this now in 2024 with the prices of everything. I can't even wrap my brain around it. So I'm very grateful and thankful anytime someone gifts me something Resident Evil related, especially something I don't have, or ports that I don't have, or anything like that. So I just want to say thank you. I love all of you guys, and thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next LTRE video. Take care.